if you need it. So I'm going to go back to Hyper-V. I had to reboot my machine. Guys, if you want, since every time you come into class now, go directly into this image, you can pin this to the taskbar so it's there for you automatically. So I'm going to sign in. Guys, if it logged out for you, just grab the desktop and drag up to get the login screen. Three, 4 years ago, they came out with this utility called the Network Manager. And it's this little graphic utility, you can't see it up there right now. Actually, you can. That manages your network right here. And we're going to use the command line utility to set up our network. I can use, sorry.
That show, was that?
Show. I can use NMCLI dev show ET80 to show my network properties. And this would be equivalent to like looking at IP link data. And if I need to, I can grep for certain things like grep for type and only see the data that I want. Or I can grep for hardware adder. Look at the MAC address. And that's going to show me the equivalent of the IP link information. Or I can look at the logical connections and do NMCLI, Network Manager Command Line Interface, connection show ET80. And this would be equivalent to like IP adder information. I don't have it set up yet. I don't have the connection profile set up. That's what we're going to do right now. So, NMCLI connection, instead of show, I can do an add. Or I can do a del for delete. So we're going to do an add. The connection name is ET80. I'm going to move it up. Okay. Is it device? Type is Ethernet. The physical interface name, the physical device, is ET80. So I'm going to link this logical device to the physical device called ET80.
Doesn't say Ethernet.
You're just racking up the points today, aren't you?
Oh.
Here thought I was wrong.
So the type is Ethernet. The IP4 address is 172.16.0.2/16. Guys, I didn't press enter, it just wrapped. So that's all one line. GW4. The IPv4 gateway is 172.16.0.1. The IPv4.DNS is 10.13.2.5, 10.13.2.
That's all. That's all.
And what else do I need? Auto connect. Yes.
3.7.
So basically, I'm going to create a new logical connection called ET80. It's going to be Ethernet. Because remember, if you don't specify the proper type, it won't have the correct NTU.
So if it was wireless, we just put like.
All I would do is link that logical name to that physical name, but then there's some additional wireless settings where you have to supply the SID and all that kind of stuff. You know, and your password for your network. The thing about wireless is the firmware. What's the difference between firmware and hardware? Firmware and software.
Firmware is the hardware itself. Software is more like interface with the application.
Software is something you install on the computer. Firmware is something that's built onto the network card. Built physically burned into the card. Well, with network cards and the ways networks are changing, the network card manufacturers no longer put the firmware on the actual device. So when you install the driver, you're installing the firmware on the computer. So when you boot up the machine, the driver says to go to a certain directory, grab that firmware, and load it into memory. And then maps the physical address on the physical card to that memory spot. So the card thinks the firmware is on it, but it's really not. It's just pointing to an address space on the real machine. That firmware is copyrighted. So with Linux boxes, what they do is someone will go to a Windows box, grab the driver, install it, grab the firmware, and put it up on a site. Because you can't include it on the distribution, because it's illegal, because it's copyrighted. This is released under GPL. You can't include copyrighted technology in that same package. So you need to go download the firmware first. People like Ubuntu, they don't care about the copyrighted license, and they include the ability to install it right during the regular installation. So Ubuntu kind of does it automatically, illegally, but no one's suing them. So it's not illegal until you get sued. But it's not really, you know, at that point you're not really giving credit to the people who write the software. So with Red Hat, they're strict about that. So you might have to download the firmware. There's a directory called etc firmware. You drop that firmware in there. It might be under syslib. You might need that software, but you might need to manually download the firmware ahead of time. There's a lot of websites that already have it out there that you can share.
Is Ubuntu under the guise of Conical, which I thought was owned by Microsoft? Is that why?
I'm sorry?
Ubuntu recently, a couple of years ago, went under the guise of Conical, which is owned by Microsoft. Maybe that's why?
No, they don't own Microsoft. That's a German company.
It's a German company.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Microsoft. Microsoft is more in cahoots with Red Hat.
Red Hat than they are them.
Right. No, that's a German company whose goal was to bring Linux to the desktop. You know, and to make it more user-friendly, things like that. So we'll see how it goes. So now NM CLI connection show ET80. When I hit enter, it's going to scroll off the screen, so I'm holding on. You can hit enter. Okay, so in any case, the connection name was ET80, it was Ethernet type. I'm linking that logical connection to that physical network called ET80, given in an IP4 address of 172.16.0.2 with a CIDR of 16. IPv4 gateway, our DNS servers, and auto connect. You know how you can disable a network card in Windows? This would be the equivalent of undisabling it. for security reasons, by default, all network cards in Linux and Red Hat are disabled. You manually have to disable them. Do you remember when we did the install, how we had to say network connection on? That's what that is doing. Okay, so I'm gonna hit enter. I can see all this data that comes up. If I want to, I could grep for IPv4 addresses, I believe. I can grep for gateway if I wanted. So I get a lot of information here.
Professor, we got an error. There's something wrong with GW.
Yeah.
Property GW.
I put in GW.
Is there,
GW space for it.
No space.
No space?
You had a problem here.
It's ETH.
Oh,
Do you want me to come back? I'm gonna pull this up.
Today's control C.
Look, I have it on the screen.
there's no space between GW and 4?
Correct.
There's no space?
No, it just wrapped it.
That's what it is, it's GW.
It just wrapped it.
Here.
The command, like, good.
This is,
All those,
I think,
like the arguments and stuff, they don't have to be in a certain order.
Oh.
Just after add, right?
It's 117.
Well, each 80 has to follow connection name.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
but connection name, like type can be before connection name.
I could put auto connect first.
Right.
Colon after DNS.
A color?
Yeah.
Where?
Did you like, oh, this is the mirror, yeah. I guess it reprogramming just now?
Alright, I don't know if you
Yeah, that's weird.
No, like if I go up and down, it doesn't show me.
Go up
down.
and down?
Good.
So it has an error. It didn't actually run. So
Oh, okay, you don't do the command. Did it accept it?
yeah, you could. That works for me. But we need to have no beard to do it.
So where's the phone?
No beard spelling.
Grep
Right after the
for gateway. All we're doing is just viewing data right here.
That's it?
We're not making any changes. We're just viewing some data.
Successful?
Oh, yes, it's
Okay, so after you run it, it's going to add a new logical connection. If you want to view some stuff, I would just show you how to do that. But I'm going to do this: cat etc sysconfig network -scripts ifcfg eth80. That command just created this file for us. You don't really need that command. You could just do it raw, but the new way of doing it is
You have to use scripts?
well, you don't have to. It's just I guess it's easier. They're trying to be more Cisco-like.
Why?
You know, it's just because people can't type. So when they're going in and manually editing configuration files, they can screw up a lot of things. I'd rather have them get an error running the script than not get an error, because you can edit a file and put whatever you want in it. Doesn't mean it's going to accept it. But you might not know it's not going to accept it until you're in the middle of a boot, when you can't change it. So I'm going to edit it. I'm going to show it. So guys, we created this file. There's the command I created. What device is it linked to? ET80. On boot, remember when we did IF name, that's where it comes out. Auto connect, that's how it comes out. we did IP4. There's the IP, there is the CIDR. There's my gateway. There's my 2 DNS servers. But it didn't do this. Oh, no, 1 second. Proto. No, that's fine. It's static. So all that command did was edit this file. But if I run IPAdder right now, well, it was already up because you might have to run this command afterwards. After you create a profile, nmcli connection up ET80. Or you can bring a connection down. Or bring it back up. Yes. Okay. So you can bring an interface up, you can bring an interface down. Guys, if you look at the verbiage, it's like network manager CLI, and then it will be, you can do connection or device here. Then for connection, you could do things like, the verb could be up, down, add, del for delete. So you kind of, if you can remember the convention, it's not difficult to remember the command. The nice thing about this command is it'll tab complete subsequent. So if I hit DO and hit tab, it'll auto-complete for me. So right now, we can ping 8.8.8.8. Type hostname CTL. CTL stands for control. That will show me my current hostname.
After I pin it, what?
Control C to stop ping. Control C to stop pinging.
Just doing like ping dash T, stop it after like a couple. Dash C and then.
Oh, if you do a count, yes. Dash C3 and then it'll. I could do this. Ping C3. The T in Windows is perpetual. The T in Windows makes it behave like a Unix box. So guys, this command shows me my current hostname. Set hostname to CS, I'm CS01, CS02, CS03, CS04, 05, 06, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, CS12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. No more. So CS01 VM1 dot contoso.com. So that's how I set my computer name. Guys, I can manually go in this file and edit it. Which is another way to edit a You put in your station number.
No way.
Normally, in corporations, you base the name of your computer on something called that's the number of that computer in inventory.
Asset tag?
Asset tag. If you look on the front of your computer, you see a little yellow sticker. That's the inventory number on the actual box itself.
Oh.
That is the asset tag. So for VMs on a physical computer, I'll put asset tag hyphen VM1 or VM2, VM3, some sort of naming convention. Now guys, if we don't resolve this name to an IP, we could potentially prevent our computer from booting or booting properly. So there's no guarantee that when you boot this machine, the network is actually going to be up and running. Everything's going to work right. So we can't resolve this name to an actual IP. What we want to resolve it to is the loopback, because the loopback interface is always up. So what we're going to do is edit this file. Give me 1 second. I'm going to come right back. We have the same file in Windows. Does the same purpose. You know, again, this is from the days when they copied Unix to get. So we have the same file in Windows. Guys, if you take the contents from this website and it's updated monthly, paste it in your host file, Linux box, Windows box, Mac box, it will essentially block all the ad servers. Yeah. WinHelp 2002. You have to manually update this every month. It resolves all ad servers to quad zeros, so you can't reach them. Just remember, just do a search of WinHelp 2002.
And then are you up? And then.
Edit, copy this, go to, type in, like, nope, run something with admin rights. Open a text editor with admin rights. Open that file and replace it, and then save it. You got to do it every month, and you really reduce the number of.
Professor, where did you go to get the lease again?
WinHelp 2002.
I mean, that's essentially what like ad block or uBlock is doing, right?
Yes,
Wait, that's an ad blocker?
yes.
Oh.
Let's see how well it works.
How would it work as? How would it work on the mail?
I think it worked. All those blank spaces are ad, right?
Yeah, some of them, it worked for some. See, but they're getting smart.
Oh,
Yeah, but it did block some of them. But they're getting smart when they sense something blocked, and they're, it might not work here in the future.
How can you block all the junk mail? I tried so many things.
The thing is, stop subscribing to list. If there's a button on the internet, and
No, I
listen,
don't-
if my wife is listening to me,
I don't
stop
subscribe to
clicking the
that.
subscribe button. No, I mean, my wife will have 30,000 emails of junk she never, so much she doesn't read her email anymore. So I'm gonna edit this file, guys.
You know, there's a checkbox normally that you have to unclick.
Yeah, at the end of when you make a purchase or something and they say, or you agree to something, there's a little button unselected that prevents you from enrolling in their. So you're going to put your short name and your long name. You're going to resolve it to the loop back. Do you want me to go back out?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so edit that file. Once I go in, what can I press to create a new line below lowercase o? So I'm going to resolve my short name and my long name, my fully qualified domain name and my host name to the loopback. If you want to be very thorough, do this as well. Do not erase the first two lines. In previous distros, they would tell you don't erase those lines.
What was the command to get to?
It was this file. VI space this. If that's what, if you didn't have the lines, you delete it.
Not really. I'm sorry for you. Only 14 pieces. You put a one, it's not very good.
Guys, you're going to put your station number here. Don't put mine. Don't go on autopilot.
Wherever we see the 01, it's our station number, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
is, when you jump from one VM to another, it will go on one, and when you jump to the other, it might be off. So it no longer really indicates.
It's just an enable disable.
Well, did you tell them?
Okay? Can I press escape?
Escape or?
We gotta escape to get out of insert mode, then colon WQ to exit. Save and exit.
Shift colon.
WQ,
WQ.
colon WQ. Colon WQ, right?
Colon WQ. Orlandi? Okay, so escape, colon WQ, and then, just like every OS, you gotta reboot after name change. Just like reboot and let it reboot.
That's weird, I should say clean inside. I was like, look at it.
So, using your analytical powers, what is this doing?
Auto connecting.
No.
It's not auto connecting.
I'm modifying the connection. And I'm saying, don't have, when I boot up the machine, don't have it start the NIC. So, up, down, add, del,
Mod?
to modify an existing logical connection. What's my host name? Set now. If I do IP adder, grep for inet, reverse grep of inet 6. One second, let me move this up a little. So I'm only showing me the IP line, but I don't want to see the IPv6 line. Dash V is reversed. So everything is working. IP route command will now show me my default.
Could you go back to the top?
All I did was this command. Which one do you want me to go back to? Okay, I'm going to do history. I just did it twice, just to show you how I can turn something off or something on. If I wanted to change an IP address, I could. No, I don't want to say that. The IP mod command. If I did if I did this. Let me show you this. I'm going to mess this up.
Okay.
just so you can see something.
So don't try this.
Yeah, don't do this. Do not do this. Now, the people that are slow typers, they'll instantly become perfect typers and type it instantly. I don't know, perfectly. And they go, now my computer's messed up. NMCLI, connection mod, ET80, IP4, 172.16.0.100/24. You would think that this would modify the IPv4 address, correct?
Yes.
It doesn't.
What?
It added a second IP. So if I do NMCLI connection down ET80, then bring it back up, you will now see that I have IP adder. I have two IP addresses.
What caused you to do that?
That's the way it's designed. So if I do NMCL, so guys, I'm going to show my history. So if I modify with the IP4 keyword, that adds an address. NMCLI connection mod ET80 minus IPv4.addresses 172.16.0.100 I don't think I need this, but I'll see if it works. That modifies an existing address. So if you want to take away an address, you can use this command. If you want to add one, you can use this command. We can also do this. Bring it down, bring it up. Now look, I have three, well, I didn't do, but you can do that command to add an address as well. See here, I did a plus. So instead of using this to add an address, I can add one this way.
So by default it has the plus.
Right. There's no field. If I did it, guys, this is IP4.
Yes.
If I did a NM CLI connection show ET80, I will not find a field called IP4. I will find a field called IPv4.addresses, and it will have my address listed there. So this command reads this, but really modifies this. So if you want to manually modify this using the mod command, you have to add it like that. I could have done NMCLI connection add ET80 and use this keyword, but the convention is using that.
So how do you modify the existing one without the whole adding? Yeah, how do we not keep it up? Okay.
Here I am changing my address from 101 to 100. And there I'm at 100 now. So I'm going to delete that. What did I do? Okay, so I'm going to reboot this machine. You don't need to. let's go over to let's go to the second server. Oh, you want to do the second break now? Yes. Guys, now listen. I'll send out an email as well. Okay. The 19th, I'm canceling class. The 26th, we have the hackathon. So I did things out of order. I'm doing chapter 12 first, which is the networking.
Yes.
Then we're going to go back to 9, which is how to stop and start a service. 10 is how to modify or configure the SSH service. I might even throw HTTP in there as well. And number 14, it allows to install a service. So we're doing 12. The next things we're going to do, I think, are all related: 9, 10, and 14.
What was 9 again? What are we doing?
9 is how to stop and start a service.
Then when we come back to second, you will continue with which one?
9, 10, and 14.
Oh, so you want to do that for the next week? Okay, great.
Right. So I'm going to cover it in class, but if you want to read ahead, that's what you want to read. Guys, to stop and start a service, it's 3 or 4 commands. Configuring a service, it depends on the service, but I'm going to give you the SSH. We're going to create 2 machines, be able to sign in from one machine to another without a password. And then 14 is how to install, and I'm going to show you how to install the web server. Okay? That's where we're at.
So we're not coming on the 19th?
You're not coming in the 19th. You're not coming in the 26th, because I have that wedding I have to go to. Okay, so guys, let's go to the second server. I got to reboot for my screen resolution.
We can close the first server? Or leave it open?
You can close it, it's still going to run.
Afternoon is Agile, WordPress beginner. Those now 9 to 12.
I'm going to reboot my machine real quick.
How do you say you pin it to the taskbar from the Hyper-V?
Just right click the Hyper-V icon and say pin to taskbar.
I thought it was like individual server 1.
Professor, what's the command that you use to like autocomplete when you're running a command?
Tab. Just pressing the tab button. If it finds a command, it'll. I created a script in the root directory.
No. I have someone on here.
Okay, just look at this list. I have two scripts that start with G, right? So I'm saying in my current directory, G tab. So it's going to bring me up to here because both these scripts have the same common letters. So when I hit 2, then tab again, it knows which one I'm referring to. Okay, so guys, I put a diagram on the board. So for this one, we're going to configure the IP. NM CLI, connection add, connection name, ET80, interface name, ET80. The type is Ethernet. IP4 address is 172.16.0.3/16. GW4 space 172.16.0.1. Guys, listen to me. Stop typing for 1 second. There's no space between the 1 and the 7.
No space between 1 and 7?
Yes. So, what else? IPv4.DNS 10.13.2.5, comma, no space, 10.13.2.7. Auto connect, yes. NMCLI connection up, ET80. Host name control set host name cs01vm2.contoso.com. Echo 127.0.0.1 cs01-vm2 cs01vm2.contoso.com into Etsy. Instead of using VI, I'm just going to echo it in.
Oh, I got an error.
Reboot and it's done. Oh, you corrected it. There was the thing. Okay. So you didn't put a space, right? You didn't put it, you missed that space.
Oh, that space.
Guys, I'm not going to reboot right now, but you go ahead and reboot.
Shut up.
We put our numbers, right?
Now listen, if I was going to do IPv4, I'd have to put IPv4, I'd have to put plus IPv4 dot addresses. Or you can use this other notation.
But for the CS, we put our computer numbers, right?
Correct. You put in your computer number.
Once you do the whole thing, reboot?
Reboot and you're done. Guys, typically, no matter what server, Windows, Linux, set the IP addresses up, set up the host name. First step on every server.
IP address and host name.
So my script set up this part for you. You're setting up these. This is what you're going to be doing on your phone. 2 machines. On the second machine, incidentally, in our script, I created 4 extra hard disks. So we're going to have a lab where we're doing partitions and things like that. So you're going to have to set up the IP, the host name, some services, get everything connected together. You're going to open up the firewall for those services. You're going to have to do some disk partition. That's your final. Some people are already done with their midterm. They sent me an email. I'll try to grade it this weekend. No guarantee.
I thought it was Wednesday. No, oh, well, I'm not even scheduled yet. It's going, I said it could be possible. Maybe it's part of
Yeah. So you know how you named the connection ATH0 and the interface EZ0?
No, the interface was already named that. That's the driver for the physical network card. That's the link. So I'm associating this logical connection, that physical connection. I can name this static if I want to. It doesn't matter this name. But this is already pre-named for us. That's the actual link. So I'm associating that logical one to that physical one. No, I'll come around.
Yeah, I did the whole thing.
No, don't worry about that. Let me see.
No, you're doing it that way. That's fine. And then do it.
Probably was it that new recognition phone, but it's going to be something else.
I gotta do it to Ron, I forgot to do it.
No, yeah, right? Yeah. He has a Snowman album, bro. Snowman 1, 2, and 3, bro. That's in the recording screen. Yeah. Someone get that phone up.
May I reboot? Once you do this 2 or 3 times, this should take you a couple minutes to do both machines.
No, bro.
I'm resolving my IP V6 loopback and IPv4 loopback to my long and short host names.
What was it? C.
Okay, so guys, I'm gonna press reboot. Orlando.
Can't wait till she says it's actually really process these guys. Well, can you before she stops drawing? You didn't see the artwork of it?
No.
I can't see it.
Crazy.
I'm gonna hit reboot, sign back in, verify everything can ping.
Why is the balloon making Why is the balloon falling?
Right?
Can you make a video game that happens? Very positive balloons.
It might have me but it's pretty good. All this is change it over, right? It's standard,
Guys, look, note my host name is now showing up on my prompt once I've rebooted. So I can do ping -c to, that'll ping. I can do dig www.google.com. That will test name resolution. I could also do host google.com, and that will show me some name resolution as well, a more condensed. Host up. I'm gonna move it up for you. Dig. PTR.
Should be in the file. You got it right. Same thing.
Dig MX. Google.
No, this is last year.
Oh, wait,
Did you make school?
What's the well, student as the problem.
Guys, what is this?
I'm on blue right now.
Max?
Mail exchange. So if I wanted to find out who the email servers are for Google, I would do dig MX. What in DNS, what is an A record?
IPv4.
Name to IP. I send it a name, it sends back an IP. So when you do dig or host in the name, that's what it's going to resolve, is going to look for an A record. If I did dig PTR and an IP, a PTR record is, you send it an IP, it sends in a name.
An A record is for
And,
name to IP?
I'm sorry,
An A record is name to IP?
name to IP.
Wouldn't that be changed?
Or, what is this?
Ah.
Name to IPv6.
Okay.
This would be the IPv6 record. Mail exchange. You have text records. You have service records. If you are going into security and you want to do reconnaissance, start querying things about a network, this is a good place to start. Dig or host. You know, this is, you need to understand DNS, A record. You need to map the network out. You know, so understand an A record is a name, you get back an IP. Pointer record, you send in an IP, you get back a name. MX record, you send in a domain, google.com, it sends back the email servers for that domain. Text records is like a kind of, if you need to do a special record, you can search for text records. A service record, I want to know who the domain controller is for this domain. It sends back the domain controller. So this is a A server record is a service, and it returns a name and an IP of the server running that service. What is this? NS. Name server. Who are the DNS servers for Google? Dig, host, they're your friends. Guys, when I diagnose stuff, ping, ARP, IP adder, IP route, guys, I don't use host very much, but it's a very powerful command. Dig or host. These are the commands that are just the kind of go-to commands. If you're diagnosing, if you're on help desk, know these. Can I use this to test name resolution? Can I ping www.google.com?
No.
I could. If I get a response, that's good. But if I don't get a response, what is it? Because I don't have connectivity or I can't resolve the name? So it's good if it shows you everything worked, but if it fails, you don't know where it failed at. Name resolution or connectivity. Okay, so guys, our two machines are set up. Close down both machines. Edit this script again. And press play. Just edit the script called create two Linux VMs and press play. Don't just shut down, just disconnect from them.
You just exit out?
Yeah, just close down the windows, rerun them. Then do it again. Server 1, server 2, you have 15 minutes. Here's your diagram.
Boy.
Oh, man.
Wait, so we go to the.
It wasn't working.
Good, so you get to do it a third time. You're welcome. You're welcome. Remember those nice things I said on the recording? Okay, so guys, this should only take you 5 minutes. I'm giving you 15. You have to run 4 commands. nm CLI, hostname control, two echo statements for both machines. And they'll have to reboot and they're done.
No.
So redo it.
Script to download it.
Do 1, then 2.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to give you 10 minutes or a little bit less than 10 minutes and I'm going to do it. In the meantime, I'm just going to reboot my machines because of my resolution.
Still edited it.
The DNS servers are 10.13.2.5, 10.13.2.7. Try to not to look at my screen too much because I'm not going to be doing this on the day of the test. I want it to sink in. Auto connect is one word. If you do this enough times, it'll be like you lay your hands on the keyboard, it just does this. You don't have to think about it. Set the IP, bring the interface up, set your host name, resolve your host name to an IPv6, IPv4 loopback, reboot. I'll come back to this machine. I'm going to do this to the other machine. That was a mistake, guys. The last.
Oh my god.
So what am I doing here? I'm going to make it so on VM2 I can resolve VM1 to an IP. So I can ping CS01. I'm on VM2. So I can ping by name. I can resolve, if I want to locally resolve any name to an IP, I can just add it to Etsy host. So on VM2, I'm adding VM1. I'm going to go back to VM1. And I can do the same thing for VM1. Guys, remember your midterm. You have 2 weeks to do your midterm at home when you're not coming to class. So you should be able to get your midterm done during that time as well. Listen, and if you're in a jam, don't wait to come to class. Text me. You have my text phone number. Yeah, don't wait, because I can fix that remotely. In that issue you had.
Even while you're at the wedding?
I take my Chromebook with me. If I have an internet connection, I can get to it. Okay, guys, I'm going to minimize this for 1 second. I'm going to stop the video.